This is Mark chapter 10, verse 6. But from the beginning of the creation, Yahweh made them male and female. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect, the 1/3 of Yasha Allah, upholding the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. Peace and salutation. This is the brother Bakwasha, and I'm going to read that again. This is Mark chapter 10, verse 6. It says, but from the beginning of the creation, Yahweh made them male and female. And I'm going to read one more quick verse, and I'm going to let this video play. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. It says, for Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. So Yahweh by Shem Yahushua is not the author of confusion. And from the beginning of creation, Yahweh by Shem Yahushua created them male and female. And so what you're going to hear in this clip is you're going to hear really a demonic woman that's called a quote unquote doctor being asked a question deliberately whether or not a man can become pregnant. And everything that's going to come out of her mouth is nothing but confusion. And we're going to grab that word here, confusion, and we're going to get into that because there's a couple of key definitions I wanted to go into. So this is from the Edamon Online, and it says confusion, disorder. Okay. And then the other definition I want to get, which you're going to see here, is from the 14th century. In English, it says that of mental perplexity, state of having indistinct ideas. So when something is indistinct, you're not able to say whether it is male or female, and that in itself causes confusion. And that's what this existence is here in Babylon, aka America. All confusion. Okay? And that's why the scriptures say, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay, because outside of that is nothing but confusion. Okay? And everything else from that leads to all types of wickedness. Okay? So I just wanted to set the table because as I heard this, it just blew my mind, because this female, okay, I could say that, is supposed to represent a professional industry, but because Babylon has promoted nothing but sorcery, witchcraft, and wine philosophies that are against the Holy Scriptures, listen to what is going to come out of her mouth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question
is. The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a
totally
doctor, I
agree.
think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes, no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes, no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with.
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women.
There it is. Male and female is how we were created. So the question in itself is direct and has a direct answer. And I even did a quick search, not that it needs it, but even when you looking for the word womb, okay, you're not going to see his womb. In the scriptures, you're going to see her womb, okay? Because females have the womb to actually carry the child, okay? Because a man cannot become pregnant. But this shows you the level of confusion here in this place, man. And this is a very basic scenario. But this is how gradualism is created. And this is how times and laws are changed. Okay? This is how, as the scriptures say, Esau will put light for darkness and darkness for light. Okay? It's very clear that no man can become pregnant. No male can become pregnant. But here in this society, this is part of the reason why this place is going to be destroyed. Okay?
Science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with.
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not gonna answer my question, it sounds like.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men.
It also.
We are here about the safety of women and science that shows that this abortion drug causes adverse health events in 11% of cases. That's 22 times greater than the FDA label, another fact you haven't acknowledged. And yet you won't even acknowledge the basic reality that biological men don't get pregnant. There's a difference between biological men and biological women. I don't know how we can take you seriously and your claims to be a person of science if you won't level with this on this basic issue. I thought we were past all of this, frankly. I can't believe we're still here talking about this.
I am a person of science, and I'm also someone here who's here to represent the complex experiences of my patients. And I don't think polarized language or questions serve that goal. I don't think they serve the American people.
It is not polarizing to say that there is a scientific difference between men and women. And I want this to be clear and for the record. It is not polarizing to say that women are a biological reality and should be treated and protected as such. That is not polarizing. That is truth. It is also, by the way, the United States Constitution, which offers unique protections to women in a variety of circumstances as women. And your refusal to recognize women as women and men as men is deeply corrosive to science, to public trust, and yes, to constitutional protections for women as women.
Corrosive, right? Because why? It now deteriorates truth. Okay? And that's exactly what Esau does. Through the course of time, through his education system, right? Now, what was truth now has a level of ambiguity. This is wickedness, man. At a fundamental level. Okay?
And I think it's extraordinary that you would sit here and advance a political agenda that has been thoroughly discredited and rejected by the American people in this forum. And I'm glad we had this exchange because it is exceptionally clarifying. It is also in many ways quite depressing. I see that my time has nearly expired. I just want to thank the other witnesses for being here. Thank you.
So that's all I really wanted to cover through the spirit, but it was just wild seeing that this demon, look at this demon, okay, is really standing up for identities when identity is never a thing in the Holy Scriptures, man. Okay? Male and female, he created them. And men cannot get pregnant.